In this comparative study, I will be analyzing the evolution of cinematography and mise en scène across the space genre using two movies. 2001, A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick and made in 1968, and Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan and made in 2014. Stanley Kubrick said, "A film is, or should be, more like music than like fiction. It should be a progression of moods and feelings. The theme, what's behind the emotion, the meaning, all that comes later." 2001 and Interstellar as a pair provide a good opportunity to study the evolution of the space genre. 2001 is a classic in the space genre and one of the original space movies, along with others such as Voyage sur la Lune, Flash Gordon, or Destination Moon. The look of 2001 and story were unique.
Sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
Unlike what had been made previously, so different that at first it was regarded as controversial and a flop. Today it is called by some the most influential movie of the 21st century. It is often referenced in other movies.
Holy hell. Yeah, you can use it to find your way back into the ship after I blow you out the airlock.
It was released in the midst of great societal change such as the space race, with the landing on the moon shortly before, the great innovations in computers with Moore's law and the sharp increase in processing power that for the first time in history birthed the concept and possibility of artificial intelligence.
I'm afraid.
It was released amidst the new wave science fiction era when the concept of aliens was a goldmine for writers and movie makers. Additionally, existentialism and science provoked a new search for the meaning of life and a search for the truth. Meanwhile, Interstellar was a box office phenomenon, grossing in around $700 million on the box office according to IMDb. Its looks, story, and acting have made it a highly acclaimed movie with a place in modern pop culture and has earned a place in many people's lists of favorite movies. Importantly, both movies offer a way to compare old-style space movies with new generation space movies and compare and contrast what makes both movies so great and influential. Its cultural context was largely different. In a context of global warming and overpopulation, famine, climate change and the exhaustion of natural resources are relevant themes in Interstellar.
The world needs farmers. Good farmers like you and Tom.
Additionally, research that proved the existence of black holes, as well as advances in physics that studied the implications of black holes, relativity and time travel, were driving factors in the story of the movie. The theme of duty to one's family against duty to society also finds its roots in current philosophical movements of the 21st century. 2001 predominantly makes use of static, lengthy wide shots. The impact is to relegate the audience to a voyeur of sorts. In the first shots, for example, that reveal the monolith for the first time and how it caused evolution, the sequence consists mostly of static, lengthy shots, turning the viewer into a passive voyeur, witnessing the events through the lens of Kubrick's camera. One impact I believe that the use of lengthy static shots has on the viewer is the slow and steady rise in tension across the movie, as the audience is more and more engrossed into the story aboard the Discovery 1. In addition, the staticness and length of certain shots bitterly reminds the viewer that they are incapable of influencing the events at all. Interstellar, however, makes predominant use of shots of relatively shorter duration, as well as more complicated camera movements such as tracks, grabs, and pads, which has as a consequence that the tension is higher across the entire movie, whereas in 2001 the tension slowly builds up to reach its pinnacle through the use of lengthy static shots, where a large part of the story is revealed through dialogue.
Well, what do you think?
I'm not sure. What do you think?
I've got a bad feeling about him.
Additionally, the depth of field and shot type vary across both movies. Though 2001 makes use of certain close-ups and medium close-ups of characters in certain emotional moments, these are not common and only happen at 2 or 3 moments. Thus, the audience is kept somewhat at the distance of emphasizing specific characters, and rather is made to watch the setting and story as a whole, as opposed to becoming emotionally attached with certain characters. The use of very deep depths of field further reduces the importance that the individuals have, and place equal weight on the surrounding of the characters.
I'm really not at liberty to discuss this.
Interstellar, however, uses cinematography through shot type and depth of field to do the opposite and attach the audience with the characters emotionally. The use of close-ups and shallow depth of field to show emotional moments for the characters, such as when Cooper leaves his daughter and family for the last time, when Murph talks to Professor Brand on his deathbed, or the last shot where Brand is alone on her planet at the end of the movie, or at other moments in Cooper's suffering. This perhaps mirrors the cultural context of both movies. 2001 follows the Second World War, where collectivism with the idea of sacrificing the individual for the nation was prevalent, whereas Interstellar was made in 2014 with the philosophy of the West of individualism, where more weight is placed on the individual rather than the group, has flourished in Western society. How colors are used in both movies can also be analyzed. For one, color is used for characterization. In Interstellar, Cooper is depicted, especially at the beginning, in brown colors, which symbolizes his place in the dirt as a farmer. Dr. Brand always wears blue or white colors, which symbolize science and knowledge. Man is associated with orange and brown, which are also the colors of his spaceship and the colors of Mars. Murph, however, wears both the brown to symbolize her origin as a farmer, but she also wears blue, white and grey, which symbolize her as a physicist and her search for knowledge. This nicely conveys her as both a farmer and a scientist. In 2001, colors are also used for characterization, most visibly in the spacesuits. Dr. Haywood wears brown colors. Dave, on the other hand, is associated with red, while Dr. Poole is associated with yellow. Hal, the deranged artificial intelligence, is also completely associated with red. The use of specific colors for each character allows a dissociation between characters, as well as a dissociation between characters and environment, which reinforces individuality in both movies, and as Interstellar shows, serves to symbolize certain character values. But color also serves its purpose in setting and mise en scène. Kubrick makes use of many different color palettes, such as complementary, analogous, triadic, and discordant. The clearest example is the use of red and white. A contrast that is slightly off-putting and symbolizes that something about the situation is not exactly how it should be. It signals to the audience that there is an underlying threat to the characters. Additionally, he uses triadic color theme, using the spacesuits for colored motifs that make the frame more interesting. This use of color shows how the space genre has changed over time. While 2001 uses triadic and dissonant colors, Interstellar rather uses complementary and analogous color themes, representing the shift in color usage in color theory over time.
You still think you're a Marine, pal? Marines don't exist anymore. I got grunts like you mowing my grass.
Finally, lighting, one of the most important elements in cinematography, also is used differently in both movies. In 2001, the lighting is at times notably colored, especially in red. This is used to communicate the danger and imposing presence of Hal at important moments. Additionally, the characters aboard the Discovery 1 are lit evenly and softly, reflecting the well-lit spaceship they find themselves in. Interstellar, however, makes far more use of shadows and deeper lighting, placing the key light often behind or to the side of the characters, which shows an evolution in lighting philosophy across the space genre. Though many cinematographic elements have evolved across time, certain stylistic features have kept their beauty and relevance. Firstly, the use of frames within the frame, where a subframe is formed in the shot.
May I see them?
Sure.
Secondly, the beautiful shots of the universe. And finally, awe-inspiring shots that communicate the absence of gravity, such as the iconic running shot from 2001 and Cooper in the Tesseract. In conclusion, both movies importantly convey how the space genre cinematography has evolved across time. Camera movements have changed from statics to dollies, tracks, crabs and pegs, shot length have decreased, depth of field has changed and has become far more adaptive in new wave space genres. Additionally, color themes have gone from dissociative and triadic to analogous and complementary, whereas lighting has gone from soft and even to more directional and deep, adding detail and interest to the frame. Regardless, some things have not changed, such as the awe-inspiring shots of the sheer size of the cosmos, beautiful sequences of the spaceships that are a trademark of the space genre, use of color for characterization, frames within the frame and beautiful lens effects of the light of the sun. This summarizes the fact that both movies deserve high appraisal for their cinematographies, showing how even though the space genre has evolved, it nonetheless manages to still produce masterful work in cinematography no matter the time.
relaxation is 67, 68 RPM.
Okay, get ready to match our spin with the retro thrusters.
It's not possible.
No, it's necessary.